What's up, nerds? And I say that affectionately. I had someone comment on my last video that it was not a good look to call my viewers nerds. Nerd is not a pejorative. After all, we're all nerds about something. You like studying history? You're a history nerd. You collect knives? Congratulations, you're a knife nerd. You enjoy tart, crunchy candy that looks like aquarium gravel? You know what you are. So I've been on a bit of an organizational kick lately. In my last video, I made this sweet rack for all of my screwdrivers, and I'm finding that I need something for these. This is your standard X-Acto knife with a number 11 blade. I've got a number of these around the shop, and I can only find this one. So I would like a home base for these, along with, other pointy instruments like these utility knives. Honestly, I don't even really like these things. They come in handy, but I don't like the design. My thumb naturally lands on top where the button is, and I always accidentally depress the button and end up collapsing the knife. And I don't know, maybe I'm using it wrong, but if anybody out there knows a better version of this, let me know in the comments. I've also got all the, the spare blades that go with these things, and I could also use someplace to properly dispose of used blades that isn't just a random canister. So I'm looking to make a station for all of my sharp, pointy things, a stabby station. All right, so I've made myself some 1/4-inch stock out of some scrap mahogany that I had. I believe this is what's left over from the copy I made of the table that my dad made in his high school shop class. Mahogany might be a little overkill for something like this, but I was out of walnut. And you may have noticed that I have a new tool here in the shop. I picked up a drum sander over the weekend. I have been wanting one forever. I got it primarily to take out the snipe that's left by my planer. I have tried every trick that people have suggested to eliminate the snipe, and none of them work. What I usually do is I have to cut myself a piece that's about the same thickness to run in front of and behind my stock just to catch the snipe, but that gets time consuming. So now I can get it close with the planer, then use the drum sander to remove the snipe and thin it down until the DRO reads exactly the thickness I want. I'm calling it the incinerator. So I've already worked up a design in Fusion for my X-Actos and my utility knives and for blade disposal. Scissors. I left out scissors. This should include scissors. It should be like a whole cutting station. All right, let's add in scissors. So I'm thinking I take the utility knives and I move those to the side and then put the scissors along the back. Actually, I think I'll put them on this side. I'm right-handed, so I don't want them to get in the way of grabbing the X-Actos. If you're not familiar with Fusion, this is what's called a sketch. And at least for this is a top-down view. And it's all extruded from these shapes. No, that is totally wrong. Wait, no, this has to go all the way across. What? What happened? I usually leave out all of my Fusion mishaps. Come on, why is this not working? What? This needs to attach to this. There, okay, I don't know, whatever. I'm not quite adept at this as I sometimes make it seem. No, this whole thing goes all the way across. Oh my God. Yeah, this to here. If I took this opportunity to tell you I'm extremely good at Tetris, would you believe me? Right. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah. You know what? It seems a little like, oh, I gotta move that hole. I'll talk about that. Talk about my hole later. Now, I had originally started designing this with miters and dados, but I decided to keep it simple and just use butt joints. And it seems a little like sacrilege somehow, using all ugly butt joints like this with mahogany, but it was either more difficult fabrication, easier assembly, or easier fabrication, more difficult assembly. And I went with the latter, which I will probably regret. Wait, no, something's still wrong. Why do I feel like something's wrong? Oh, I forgot the utility knives were supposed to go on the left. All I got to do is I just have to swap these measurements. I love parametrics. Yeah? Sure, yeah, that'll do. All right. Yeah, let's start cutting. I don't intend for this to be super nice, but since I could, I went ahead and matched the grain across the front and the sides. Although it won't really matter because I'm not using miters anyway. If you can figure out your order of cuts ahead of time, you can cut all the pieces that have to be the same width consecutively without moving your fence. That way you can ensure that they're the right size. And then with pieces like this, I cut them a little oversize. I come back and flush them up together and trim them all at once. Okay, so I don't normally do this, but some of the interior faces, these interior areas are going to be kind of tight. So I'm going to go ahead and, can you guys hear that bird? That is a loud bird. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and varnish some of these inside faces before I glue it up with some Total Boat Gleam. This stuff always looks great on mahogany. You can always get a discount on Total Boat products, by the way, following the link down in my video description. Now, I had a few pieces here that were a little too thin along one side to use as 1/4 inch stock, but if I thin it down some more, I can use this for the bottom of the little drawer that's going to hold all the spare blades. Wow, that is a perfect 1/8 of an inch. I never could have done this with my planer. By the way, if you're interested in learning more about stuff like this, more about woodworking, there's an online resource you should check out called Woodworkers Guild of America, who is graciously sponsoring this project. Right now, they are offering new members an entire year's membership for only $1.49. That wasn't a mistake. That's an entire year for $1.49. As a member, you will have access to woodworking instructions, ideas, and information featuring tutorials for creators of all skill levels, beginner to expert. And these are actual instructional videos from seasoned creators like George Von Driska and furniture maker Tom Casper. In my work, I use a fair amount of what you might call special effects techniques. In fact, I just released a video on how to rust and weather your projects. Check it out. So I was happy to find Alicia Albertson's tutorials on transforming wood to give it that aged look, or making cheap wood match more expensive species. Plus there's plans, Q&As, and videos on choosing the right tools, on joinery, cabinet making, boat building, and a whole lot more. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the video description get a full year of premium membership to Woodworkers Guild of America for just, again, $1.49. That link is right down there. Now, I went ahead and cut out all the pieces for the drawer, cutting them together where I could to make sure they're the same length. But I'm not going to assemble this just yet. I want to make sure this fits where it goes. So I'm going to assemble all of this first. However, I am not going to be using wood glue because I've already varnished this. For wood glue to really work the way it should, you kind of need bare wood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some Total Bond super glue. Plus it'll be faster. I've also cut out a couple of spacers to make it a lot easier to line things up. And I added notches along the bottom just so these would not get accidentally glued into place, which is exactly something I would do. I've also got my diagram here so I know what goes where. So I'm going to start with this. I've labeled all of these pieces also so I know what goes where. And this may not be as strong as wood glue, but I mean structurally, this doesn't have to be that strong. All right. Spray some activator on it, which should kind of wick underneath the edge there, setting it up. Great. And then this one. Perfect. Add some pin nails where I can. I do not have much of a margin of error here. Uh-oh. I didn't put the notch, I had it turned the wrong way. Wait. What? Oh, God. Scares the crap out of me every time. All right, did I use the wrong piece? No, I just hadn't cut this to size yet. Right, okay. I deliberately did not cut all of these to size. That way I could make sure I cut them to fit exactly during assembly. I just didn't realize this was one of the pieces that I did that with. So what I need is the height of this plus the thickness of the bottom here. And then so what I can do is I can use this to set up the fence and then cut this exactly to fit this. Yeah. Now, could have done that before I started assembly, but I didn't know ahead of time what order I was going to go in. And I still did it wrong. It's this minus this. I gotta figure out how do I set this up subtracting? Oh, I got it. I'm not moving the camera again, so I'll just explain it here. I'll set the fence to the width of this, and then when I run this through, I stick that against the fence, and that'll subtract this amount. Yeah. Or you could just use a ruler. As anyone who's ever done any woodworking can tell you, rulers lie. There, and that is perfectly flush. Of course, something like this does not have to be all this accurate, but sometimes I just like to, experiment with techniques like this for when I do have a project that needs to be this accurate. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Ah. Had to happen at least once. And for the spots where I didn't get it quite right, I can just use a sandpaper block. All right, so I've gone ahead and put together most of the drawer here, just using regular wood glue this time. I just need to shim it up in the middle here. Perfect. And you know, I really like this dark on the inside, light on the outside look. I'm not sure how I would preserve that for this, because I was still gonna put finish out here. Maybe even like a bright red on the inside. I don't know. Save that idea for another time. Right now, I'm just gonna, put on the rest of the finish as I originally intended. Oh, wait, no. I've got one more piece that goes right here. So I have already taken the liberty of adding a couple of steel brackets in here using the world's stubbiest screwdriver. So now this just snaps in here like this. So now I can safely dispose of my used blades. and it's not really easy to get it open. And if I do need to open it to empty it, I can just use one of these and do that. But I'll probably be dead before I fill this up. And before, I was just storing these in an old soup can. And, you know, when I put it in there, of course, it would chip the tips. Once again, you don't want chippy tips. So, got myself a square of insulation foam, and that just slips down in here like this. Now, no more chippy tips. Also, and this is what you've been waiting for, if I ever have to replace this, well, just stick my finger up through that hole. That's what the hole is for. I also 3D printed myself a knob for the drawer. As well as bins to hold all of my spare blades. As for these areas up here, I made these a little bit oversized for what I plan to fit in here, just in case I change things in the future. But that leaves things pretty loose and sloppy. So I also printed myself some custom bezels. They're just a press fit. And these keep things nice and tidy. And since this station is for cutting, I made a slot here for straight edges. Oh, and I made a bezel for this spot too, because these two made that one look naked. I did not actually intend for this to turn out this nice, but hey, the mahogany looks pretty good. I also never located my other knives, probably because I didn't bother looking for them. I just ordered some more. I ordered 2, and they sent me 3. So, hey, free knife. If you've got any questions or ideas, leave them down in the comments. These are not the X-Acto brand. I wanted to try these Fiskars, and I can already tell these seem much higher quality. I always link to my tools that I use down in the video description. Also, if you'd like to help support this channel, help me keep making content like this, and get access to bonus content, there is a Patreon link down below.